I hope you haven't gone live.
I have.
You were saying you want to see the focus, Kabwita.
It's okay.
Huh?
It's okay.
Yeah. You didn't promise to go. Okay. Go on now. Good afternoon, countrymen and women, and those who are watching us from outside the perimeters, the borders of Zambia. Today I want to address one very pertinent issue, that is the heartbeat of democracy in all democratic states. And if any country does not tread carefully on the issue of the electoral body, I'm saying if any country in the world does not tread carefully on the issue of the electoral body, then their democracy is bound to fail, lamentably. Then their democracy is bound to fail, lamentably. Let me narrow down to the Electoral Commission of Zambia. The Electoral Commission of Zambia, though criticized from a long time, has tried by all means to live to the expectations of Zambians. Obviously, there has been incidences when certain political parties, including the PF at one time, doubted the credibility of the Electoral Commission of Zambia. But all these doubts and the criticisms have been without concrete evidence of the ECZ being partisan. And listen to this very, very carefully. The reason is very simple. All those who have been commissioners, and I beg to be challenged, all those who've been commissioners on the Electoral Commission of Zambia have not been openly partisan. Mark that word. I've never been openly partisan, and I'll give examples. Mr. Esau Chulu was appointed as the chairperson of the Electoral Commission of Zambia. I have never, and not even any Zambian would come forward and say, we suspected Mr. Esau Chulu to either be PF, UPND, or indeed MMD. Nobody came out in that manner. Look at Mrs. Miyoi, is it Miyoi? She was permanent secretary. She was heading the, I think the immigration. Nobody ever said Mrs. Ndioi was UPND, PF, or otherwise. Mrs. Emily Sikazwe was picked from a genuine group of non-governmental organizations, having been the chairperson of NGG, having been leading a consortium of NGOs, and she was involved in issues of women. Come to other commissioners, nobody, even during the Mwanawasa time, even during the Chiluba time, was actually drawn from openly partisan cadre. And it was very easy to defend the decisions of the ECZ because, like I've said, all the commissioners who have been there, particularly chairpersons, have never shown signs of partisanship. Neither have they been lawyers of the sitting president before. It is the first time in the history of this country where we see that the one who has now been appointed, subject to ratification, as chairperson of the Electoral Commission of Zambia is a non-UPND member. A non-UPND member, Mrs. Mwangala Zaromis, is a UPND card-carrying member who everybody knows that she supports UPND, and she was a lawyer of the sitting president, His Excellency, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. What's more, Mr. McDonald Chipenzi. Mr. McDonald Chipenzi calls himself an electoral expert from time immemorial. But remember that he applied to stand on UPND as an MP. If it's not Chigankata, I've just forgotten, it should be Siavonga. And everybody knows that when Mr. Chipenzi issues a statement, it is in support of an action by the UPND. Look at what happened during the Kabushi and Kwacha pre-by-election period, and even post-by-election period. Mr. Chipenzi was openly taking the UPND line, which led to those illegal, and I call them illegal and a sham election that was held in Kabushi. I may not go into details because the matters are in court. Mr. President, my dear brother, this country should not be narrowed to political cadres in terms of appointments to important positions. I do recall very well that one of the issues that, Mr. President, you criticized or you talked about was that we're going to depoliticize, one, the civil service and the Electoral Commission of Zambia. On the Electoral Commission of Zambia, Your Excellency, you were very, very candid that we needed an independent Electoral Commission of Zambia, void of all political connotations, interference, and otherwise. Why today, my brother? Why do you want to do this to the people of Zambia? Why do you want to bring problems to a body that is already has been attacked in the past of being partisan or biased? Now, openly bringing in people that are partisan, who even erode the confidence that the Zambians, the little confidence that the Zambians had in the Electoral Commission of Zambia. I plead with you, President Hakainde Hichilema, reverse these nominations. reverse these nominations for the betterment of Zambia. There are so many people that you can nominate to sit on this body, but please not Mrs. Mwangala Zaromis. I have nothing against Mrs. Mwangala Zaromis. I have known her as a lawyer of very high standing, as a woman of integrity. I have absolutely nothing against her as a person. She's actually one person I regard as a mother to me, a senior citizen. But this appointment is all wrong because our mother has shown the whole world that she's a UPND member. She was your lawyer, and as such, she cannot be nominated and be taken to aid a very sensitive democratic institution like the Electoral Commission of Zambia. Mr. President, please listen to the voice of wisdom. What you are doing is not correct. You even know it yourself that this is not correct. Worse still, McDonald Jipenzi, even you as an individual, even if Kufa Enchito, I think this be like Benaba Changala, people of integrity. If there are any people that I respect from the NGOs today, is Brene Bachangala and Fumba, popularly known as Pilato. These people are principled. Brene Bachangala was earmarked to be appointed, and he refused and said, I would rather remain civil society and be non-partisan and save the people of Zambia in my position as a leader of a non-governmental organization, civil society. That is integrity. That's the level of integrity that we need in Zambia. McDonald Chipenzi, everybody told you, you are speaking partisan lines because you want a job you were refusing. Today you accept and you are even defending. No, yes, I know how I've behaved in the past, but when I go there, I promise the Zambians that I will not be partisan. Chipenzi, are you sure? Jipenzi, iwe Jipenzi. Are you sure you are not going to be partisan? Look, Chipenzi, your blood is UPND. Your thoughts are UPND. Your actions are UPND. You cannot divorce yourself, I beg your pardon, from UPND. You can never divorce yourself from UPND. Please, my brother, Insoni Ubuntu, reject this nomination. And I want to appeal to the members of Parliament from both sides of the divide, the UPND and the MMD. I mean the PF, including the independents. Please don't ratify Mrs. Mwangala Zaromis. Don't ratify Mr. Jipenzi. Let the president nominate other people to avoid unnecessary. Certain things you can avoid them. I can tell you this issue is going to bring a lot of tension in this country. And to the PF MPs, what I'm speaking is not the position of the party, it's my own thoughts. That for me, I would advise you to walk out when the ratification of these people comes to Parliament. I would appeal to you to even refuse to be appointed on the committee that is going to sit to scrutinize the presidential nominations of these two individuals. I don't have any problem with the other appointments of the Mrs. Sokoni as judge of the High Court. But to appoint McDonald Chipenzi, to appoint Mrs. Mwangala Zalomis, who I respect so much, ma'am, nothing against you, an excellent lawyer. But the mere fact that you have identified yourself with UPND, and it is a UPND president sitting as state president who has appointed you, madam, reject that nomination. You will mess up your reputation. You will mess up your integrity, which you have built all these years. You have built a very good reputation, madam. But please, don't mess up your reputation. Leave a legacy where the people they used to be saying they were lawyers like Mrs. Mwangala Zalomis. I am telling you where you are going. It is criticism after criticism. And the mere fact that you are known to belong to the UPND, you should not take up that position. My role is advisory, but advice is up to take or leave. Nampapata mwebena Zambia nampapata imen palich reject these nominations. Wherever there have been conflicts on the continent of Africa, it is the way you handle and run the electoral body, which is in this case is the Electoral Commission of Zambia. Chipenzi must not see the corridors of ECZ as a commission. Madam Mwangala Zalomis must not see the corridors of Electoral Commission of Zambia as chairperson of this body. She's eminently qualified because the law says anybody who is either a judge or anybody who has credentials to be a judge. On that score, I have no question. The only question I have, she has shown to be partisan, and she has been President Hakainde Hichilema's lawyer. Whatever decision she's going to make, it will be questioned. And that will be the beginning. Please hear me correctly. Mweba tukana. I'm sure some of you are already kaidi monomba ukutuka abantu when they are saying the truth is a norm. Mushetulule mfiondela nda mupitulukemo. If you want a Zambia which has no tension, if you want a Zambia where the elections can be regarded as free and fair, please, the two nominees must not take up this position. I have nothing against Chipenzi. I have nothing against Mrs. Mwangala Zalomis, excellent lawyer, senior citizen, but this appointment, no. No. ECZ should not have a semblance, and I'm saying semblance, of partisanship. Then, from the beginning, it is rejected. Whatever decision it will make, you say, it's Zalomis and Chipenzi. There are a lot of jobs. Jesus said, in my Father's house, there are many mansions. If it were not so, I wouldn't have said I'm going to prepare a place for you, so that wherever I am, you also be there. These two people can be given positions elsewhere, but not the Electoral Commission of Zambia. Unless you Zambians or opposition political parties, you want the UPND to be in power in perpetuity, accept Chipenzi, accept Mrs. Mwangala at your own peril. I'm appealing to the conscience of these two individuals and the conscience of the president as the appointing authority. Withdraw these nominations. Where things are wrong, I'll never stop talking. That's what makes Chishimba kambwili. Nampapata. Don't bring confusion in the already confused environment of the Electoral Commission of Zambia. Let at least people have some benefit of that in the decisions. But with Chipenzi there and Mrs. Mwangala, there will be no benefit of doubt. Everything will be obvious. And I'm saying, whether the decisions will be right or not, people will take it. The opposition will take it, that it is these two partisan individuals that are directing. There's already an allegation that Chipenzi has been running the Electoral Commission of Zambia from outside. Now what happens when he's inside? But President, integrity ya muntu, nobuntu, na humility, by mwena in the actions you take on things that you condemned. You could not condemn and accuse the Electoral Commission of Zambia of being partisan, and again, on the other hand, you want to bring people who are partisan in the commission, non-partisan. Yes, every Zambian at heart has got a political party they support, but whoever has come out to either support UPND, PF, MMD, Citizen First Party, Socialist Party, NDC, etc., etc., should and must never, never, never be appointed on the Electoral Commission of Zambia. Hence, my appeal to the President to withdraw these nominations and do the right thing. What was wrong in the previous regimes cannot be right under this regime. ZCCM HI, why have you closed Munshill milling? Munshill milling was bought from private hands by ZCCM IH. The company is a milling company with 250 employees, direct and permanent employees, and 80 casual workers. This milling company was running smoothly. Immediately UPND took over. They closed the company, sending 250 employees, permanent, and 80 casual workers on the streets. They've not been paid their salaries for the past 8 months. Muleipaya abantu. Ushekwena abantu kuti baya 8 months tabafola. Company belonging to the state, a parastatal of the state. How is the state going to enforce paying of workers against private companies? If the state itself, through ZCCM, can be a culprit of failure to pay employees. There were 2 milling companies that were bought. Superior Milling was bought by IDC directly. It is still running profitably and without any problems. What is the problem with Munshill milling? If ZCCM has failed to run Munshill milling, please hand it over to IDC for them to run it the way they are running Superior Milling. We are grappling with jobs. We want to create jobs, and yet we are failing to maintain the already created jobs. Employees of Munshill are suffering. You can't like it. Nga mwaba monaba bumfiba kumusha bale muneka kuntanshi kwate kunuma kwate kuntanshi mulandu wansala nokuchula mweba mnyinanye kwate ninkumbu noluse kuba nenu. Mr. President, I'm appealing to you. Look into the issue of Munshill milling. The plight of the 250 plus 80 casual workers. If you have failed ZCCM, why did you go and buy the milling company if you knew you were not going to run it? Because that milling company was being run very well by the previous owners. When it becomes a government milling company, it fails to operate. That's a shame. And yet we are saying as government that we are going to create jobs. Please sort out the issue of Munshill milling. In conclusion, Vamtolo Piri, Insonia Wumtu. First minister, first government UPND, ama farmers look for la fertilizer. Muni meda. Why is it that you people in UPND are very good at talking? Bamutolo, you are the... No, this Thursday, we have already taken 55%. 55% fertilizer is already in the depots. And before the end of November, all the farmers will have received their fertilizer. And the distribution is 6 bags per each family. Can't you meda 6 mwarela ya bantu? Nina nemle kwata kwenson. Mwasanga program, you found a program which was running very well, but because of selfishness, and I want to stress this point, we have this problem of FISIP because of selfishness. People want new suppliers where they are going to get commission. That's what has caused us problems. You know, when you take over a government, there must be transitional period. If you gave the contracts to the same people that were supplying fertilizer for this year at least, before you could identify other suppliers, this problem could have not been there. But because people are in a hurry to make money, they want to bring in their own suppliers. Ukwabulo tontonkanya paplaiti abantu. Nomba abantu bambokufola mameda. But imwe, in the meantime, mulepoka ma commissions. You are making money out of the fertilizer. Ala lesakaya mukanda. Lesakaya mukanda, lesakaya mukanda. If you mwachita kubulimi this year, kubalimi this year, mwaipa ya bantu. Next week, I am going to take some journalists and I will go around non-constituents for me to show you abantu mufunishe pafisip muka monefo bamoneka. Vamdi abantu they can literally walk. There is a man called Mr. Mvula. Vamdala babale bomba kumaini bali kwata stroke. Venda fe kwati vale isunka. Mwayafu nyo muntu wafile pafisip sure. Alina abana nabe shukulu. Ala bali shenshi. Mule kwato luse. Mule kwato luse. Insonye muntu. On Monday or Tuesday, I'll go around, I'll pick a few people, I'll show you live on my page to see abantu bafunishe. Mumone kwenanga chakutila, abantu abalefunyako, abantu abamusango filia, kuti basunge chalo. Nga kuti mwayafunya abantu abalema. Bamu abantu bali ba bedridden. But nga bapoka fertilizer, abakashibaya alimana ngo abalume. Bakwate fya kulya mwabafunya hapo bale yakwi. Mwaipa ya bala balefwa. If na myebele last time mleipa ya abantu. No mbapantu chile moneka kwati anything that comes from the opposition in this country is trash. And you don't listen. You went there Mutoro. No, utatulefunya kwa abantu. List ni line 1,024 people. Filafile gotuka pela. So what I've said, Mailo, Mukomfwa, Kawana, responding. Mukomfwa Mailo Kawana responding. But you see, let's respond, you only make yourselves unpopular because the same things show Mukane Fletchtika. So who are you trying to impress? Who are you trying to impress? Sort out the issue of FISIP. Pay abantu fertilizer. bwekeshe nikuwa abantu mwafumyapo nga mlefu kubafumyapo. I've told you, give them a grace period of 2 years or so. Gradually you remove them. But you're in a hurry to put your own people, your own relatives, which is wrong. I have told you, you never remove. I mean, when MMD left 500 farmers, those 500 farmers up to now still get FISIP because PF never removed anybody. Imomo Aisa, you are in a hurry to remove abantu. Alamulei paya abantu. Nampapa to our president. Abo bantu bale mwepo ufi abo. Ila press briefing bakwete ba mtolo ufi weka imo mlefa UPND mulomfa wena kumitatu muli babu fyayi. Ale ichili china chabu fichibi. Akale bale sesa matwi umuntu nga wabufi bale bulama tubaputulako. Bakutilo alenda abantu bale munatula mwamuno wabulama tu wabufi pantu bufi lisambiri kalambo bufi chintu ichibi bati imwe ba UPND chile mwana gwatu bufi imwe it's normal. Byose bale mitavya tibabufi. Please do the right thing. Save the people. Our speaker last week na leve. Our speaker be impartial. Our speaker, please don't be partisan. Our speaker, please treat every member of parliament. Lerona chila tamba parliament TV. Kaiba kawana bebati. Kambwili speaks without research. Kawana, when I talk about something, my young man, ninshinin kwatama facts. I was watching Parliament today, and there was a point of order from the opposition, a point of order of emergency nature, and somebody was asking, the COVID has resurfaced in China. May we know the preparedness of Zambia in terms of COVID. If it hits Zambia again, what are we going to do? The speaker trivialized the whole issue and said, that is not an emergency. If COVID comes, you know what to do. You can put on a mask and be vaccinated. The speaker, please, stop trivializing important issues. COVID the whole world in Michene. COVID has destroyed economies, including Zambia's economy. You can say, no, ngaya isa kufuala fie, maski, no utungwa. Are you sure? What the speaker needed to do was to tell the Minister of Health to come to the House with a ministerial statement to inform the House the practical measures that this country was going to take should such an issue arise. That's not emergency, that's not important. Kufuala fe mask. Kwena parliament nayo naika. Parliament has been destroyed. Don't destroy ECZ. Parliament has destroyed because of having a speaker who was drawn from among the UPND cadres. A partisan speaker. And today, I'm advising against a partisan ECZ chairperson and commissioners. But Speaker, be serious. God bless Zambia. Thank you very much.